Hello, Forecaster here again, and we are back for episode 151 of Enter the Gungeon, a series revived due to the new Advanced Gungeons and Dragons update. And I wonder what that's a reference to. Now, unfortunately, for this episode and the next two, I'm having to do a voiceover in post, which I hate doing, of course, because it means that I can't use the actual voiceover I recorded while playing for whatever reason. In this case, it's because somehow the tracks got corrupted and I was unable to recover them. So I'm going to have to react again to what is happening. And this update has been a lot of fun so far. They've added a lot of stuff. Some new items, new weapons, and some quality of life features like what you see me trying out right here. You can now dodge over tables as long as they haven't been flipped. It does damage them, however, so eventually they will break them, and they will be less useful for cover if you do that, because they get damage from it. It's a very lovely feature. Previously, of course, they pretty much behaved like a wall. If you try to dodge past them, you would just stop, which was kind of annoying. Another very nice addition is that chest rooms and the end elevator room after the boss now have teleporters in them. So no longer do you need to, when you want to exit the floor, teleport to before the boss room and then walk through the boss room. That's a very nice addition, and you can easily get back to a previously visited chest room without having to potentially walk a long way because of the lack of teleporters in other rooms, or the lack of a teleporter in a nearby room, which sometimes happens. So it's nice that they've done that as well. There are some new secrets in the game. There are some new mini bosses, and there are a lot of new enemies, some of which we will see. There's one right there, Stick of Dynamite, who's not in the Ammonomicon for some reason. I do check that in a later episode. Have a look at the new listings, but that one is not in there for whatever reason. But I don't know what it's called. There are some new enemies in there, however. And yeah, I am going to discover a bunch of new stuff now. So there's one, the Bubble Blaster. I'm going to buy that shortly. I can't really reveal too much, or I don't want to, of course. But I've had a lot of fun, and there are many things left to discover still. I've recorded 6 episodes of this, and I'm absolutely terrible still, of course. Nothing new there. Another feature they've added, at least I think it's new, is that when you get a synergy, try to pop my own bubbles there. It didn't work. And when you get items with synergies, you can now tell that you have something with a synergy. And you can tell when you open the Ammonomicon by selecting one of the items, it will show which item the synergy is with. It doesn't tell you anything else, however, which is a little unfortunate, because some items have very strange synergies that you need to activate, as it turns out after looking it up. I noticed that, for example, the heroine has synergies with certain items that, to use them, require you to reload with a full clip, which will switch the mode of the weapon to a new mode. And I had no idea about that until I read about it on the wiki. So that's something the game neglects to tell you that it should, I think. Because you really don't have a way of knowing that, because I usually don't reload weapons when they have full ammo. Because what's the point? And I haven't thought of doing that while, or as a response to a synergy. So I had no idea weapons could do that. But now I do know, so I'll probably try that. Although there are a limited number of weapons that actually use that feature, as far as I can see. And if you didn't know, I've still been playing Enter the Gungeon even before this update. After right, I found a new setting, which I thought was what was referred to as turbo mode in the update page, but it's not. What it is, however, is a setting that makes it so that when you're not in combat, you run faster, which is nice. It speeds the game up a little bit, which is especially useful when you're recording videos like this. Makes it a little faster to traverse, but as soon as you enter combat, as soon as you enter a room with enemies in it like this, everything slows down again, and then it speeds back up when you're done. I did notice, I think it doesn't react to random encounters that happen outside of when you enter a room and start combat that way. Like, I don't think it triggers or it slows down when you fight a mimic or something. I'm not entirely sure. I have to destroy a chest. It's a little unfortunate. Another feature that they have added, which is very handy, which I will encounter eventually, is that you can now save hearts for later. When you have full health and you try to pick up a heart, it won't work, of course. Instead, it will have a floating message above it that says save for later. And if you hold the use key, it will teleport away, and you can get those hearts that you've saved from a vending machine or dispenser device in the shop and in the end elevator room. And that is very handy. And they carry over between floors as well, if I recall correctly. Which is incredibly handy, because usually you can get into a situation where you have to waste several hearts worth of health that is spread out across the floor, which you can't pick up because you have full health. And you just have to leave it behind. So that's a very, very appreciated feature. You still have to leave ammo behind, however. You can't take that with you like that, or anything else. I mean, ammo and health, really the only things you had to leave behind. All the other pickups you can pick up regardless of, you don't have any limits on them. So, but that's very nice. And there is one of the new enemies that really surprised me, and apparently there are new mimics. You can see there are wall mimics like this one. And as it turns out, there's another type of mimic that we'll see in a future episode, I think. I don't think I see any in this one. So I'm not going to spoil that. There are no table mimics so far. There haven't been any table mimics so far. I don't think there are any, which is kind of disappointing because that's kind of a D&D joke, the one about the table mimic, which they kind of missed out on. Might even be a meme. Not entirely sure about that. But it seems kind of obvious that there would be table mimics. So you see there I leave the heart behind because I'm used to doing that. But you did see the message pop up briefly, but not long enough for me to see it. But I will discover the heart thing eventually. It'll be a long walk around to that chest room. But with the speed boost, I noticed that statue. Thought that might be something, but they're new decorations, basically, and they can be of the player characters and stuff. That was terrible. So there you can see I noticed the message finally, and I decided to try it out, and then of course I go back and do it for the hearts I've left behind. Then I got distracted by a painting that I thought looked like something special, but wasn't. So now there you can see we have the vending machine, and if you open up the map, you can see in the bottom left there, it tells you how many half hearts you collected so far, and you get them as half hearts regardless of what you picked up, which is nice. So it means you can ration them. It's a very lovely feature. So here we are in chamber 2. And everything seems pretty normal so far. Purple light is weird. Don't remember there being purple lamps on them. Wonder if that marked something. I didn't really notice it at the time. I notice it now in rewatching this, but maybe I'll encounter it again sometime. Let's see. Church bells going on outside. Don't know if you can hear them, but I can. not because it's an even hour. So there's a new kind of enemy who then vanishes. Turns out they're called Chancebulons. And they seem to take random attacks from other enemies. Specifically other Blobulons. And each attack will be different. Be from a different Blobulon. Like the one you saw there with the square pattern was from the ones you find down in the forge, I believe. Here's a familiar room. And there's another spider that we saw, which is a new enemy, as you can probably tell. Creates these web patterns with one of its attack that slow you down. And here's a new mini boss, and it's cursed. And a particularly annoying thing with this is that the camera stops following the character normally, which is garbage. Really throws me off when that happens. Now I lost my ranged attack with the blast mace, and now things go downhill. Resort to using the nail gun for some reason instead of the mailbox, which I really have no idea why I did that. And then I get a fireball on my head and die. Very, very unfortunate. But I keep going, of course. This turned out to be a pretty long episode. It was, as the first one, I was eager to just keep running in and discovering new things. This is a bit of a new room. There's a new layout. There are a few new rooms as well. Some of them are pretty mundane, and others are more interesting. More statues, yes. A robot. And I pondered if the robot statue would show up even if you hadn't unlocked that character. And of course don't know the answer to that because I've unlocked all of the characters. So I still haven't checked if there are new achievements. Previously I'd gotten all the achievements except one, which was to complete the regular run down to the dragon in challenge mode, which adds the modifiers to rooms, which is what I've been trying to do when I've been playing this since I suspended the series, and it's turned out to be quite difficult and I haven't been able to do it. But maybe now there are new achievements that I'll have to look at yet. There I saved the water barrel, perhaps unnecessarily because I generally don't use those. Don't go to the oubliette very often. But I still have the urge to save the water barrel from being hit. And sometimes at the cost of my own health, which is perhaps not a good habit. Try to stop doing that. Get more health for later. Find the shop, which is nice. There's the new item, Baby Good Mimic, which turns out to be a companion. I don't know, I think this was the only run I saw it in so far, so I think I'd buy it later. And I'm not entirely sure what it does. It runs around and attacks things similar to Sir Gungeon, I guess. Can't really think of another companion that does melee. I don't think I encountered any mimics with it, so I don't know if it interacts with mimics somehow. And there I noticed the health storage counter down there. It wasn't difficult to figure out without support, of course. So the present crossbow is not a super amazing weapon in my opinion. It's probably more useful. Yeah, we got a wall mimic in here. It's great. Turns out they can appear pretty much anywhere. But yeah, the present crossbow is probably good for rooms with a lot of small enemies. It's not that good for a boss fight, as it turns out, so I could actually using blasphemy. It's a lot better for this kind of thing. Back to the present crossbow, and I get hit again. Just amazing performance all around. Or not. I get the Colt 1851, which has a synergy with the Heart Holster. And it turns out that makes it so that when you reload, you fire 3 bullets for free. Yeah. There I get some health. My health bank. Now I have none stored. Check for secret rooms. Find one. Get a glass gunstone and some more health, which is always nice, I suppose. And then we buy this because we have a lot of money, which is why I play in with the curse mode. This abandoned baby mimic misses its siblings and imprints on the first follower it sees. I'm not sure what that means. If it interacts with other companions, or I would assume it interacts with mimics somehow, but I don't know. We'll probably find out in the future sometime, perhaps. And Down on the second floor once more. There's another purple lamp. There's another one. I think maybe we're in two in that room. I think they may just be random, actually. That was terrible. I think I did twice there. Oh yeah, the mimic also shoots randomly sometimes. Just a bit strange. I have no idea why it just fires in random directions, though. And there's another new thing, the nod key, which costs 1,000 coins. But you can put money into it across multiple runs, which is probably a good thing because I've never had even close to 1,000 coins in a single run. I don't think even with the briefcase full of cash you get that much. Maybe you do, I don't remember. But anyway, of course, you put some money into it each during multiple runs when you can, and it will go down over time, and then presumably when it reaches 0 you will get the item, and we'll find out what it does then. Hopefully. That would have been nice if that ricochet had hit the bullet tin. That was stupid. I don't know why he did that. Just kept to the edge. So dumb. I'm really dumb sometimes. Just do things that you really shouldn't do. In hindsight, it's incredibly obvious you shouldn't have done that, but for some reason it really seemed like a good idea in the heat of the moment. In that brief second. Like right there, somehow, for some reason I thought it was a good idea to dodge to the side, just along with the bullets, instead of dodging towards the enemy and actually dodge through the bullets. Just, sometimes I don't know how my mind works. Another waste of a chest. Get some junk. That's one of the drawbacks of playing, one of the major drawbacks of playing with the curse mode is that you get a lot of chests with fuses on them, which sucks. Because if you don't have a key, you pretty much lose chests. There was another mimic that turned into chaos extremely quickly. But we try again. Even though I really should have ended the episode here. We're exactly at 30 minutes now. But Oh well, I didn't really pay attention to the timer because I was busy having fun. And I wish that had the original voiceover. I get so mad at my system sometimes. And pretty much since yesterday, when I recorded these, it started having issues with the keyboard where just randomly the keyboard locks up somehow, and whatever key I was pressing at the time just keeps getting sent, and I have to unplug the keyboard and plug it back in to fix it. And I can't do anything. You can't press escape to pause. You can't press F to bring up the Yamanomicon. Just whatever direction I was going, my character just keeps going in that direction, and the game continues, and I take damage or run into a pit or whatever while I unplug the keyboard, and it's just terrible. And as a result, I may have to buy a new keyboard. If it is the keyboard that does it, then it's not my computer, in which case I may have to replace my motherboard. Alright, that happened. That was a surprise. That hasn't happened since. I unlocked something because of it. I have no idea what that is. Daruma. I haven't seen that yet in the next 6 episodes. Well, the next 5. I recorded 6 episodes with this one. And that hand I've never seen since either. That was, of course, a Zelda thing with hands coming down from the ceiling and plucking you and putting you back at the start of the dungeon. Certain Zelda games had those. Ocarina of Time had them in the Shadow Temple, and one of the 2D ones, or at least one of the 2D ones, had them. I haven't played the 2D ones very much. I don't remember which one, but they had them. So yeah, it was appropriate that I was playing the bullet as the character centered around the Zelda references for the most part. I don't know if that hand can happen to the other characters. I would presume that it can, that it's not character specific. But like I said, it's probably very rare because I played as the bullet for all these episodes, and it hasn't happened again, regardless. But it was interesting, at least. There was probably some way to dodge it as well. I just failed at it. Bloodied Scarf. I love the Bloodied Scarf, even though I am absolutely terrible with it. So I'm, of course, going to sell nanomachines to get the Bloodied Scarf. Even though it will, as usual, be my downfall because I suck with it. It has a sound effect now, as you can hear. The teleport was silent before, or at least silenter. I commented on how you can't destroy those barrels anymore when you have the Bloodied Scarf, because you can't dodge roll through them. Which is a little unfortunate, because it's dodge rolling through those barrels is a nice way to get rid of them without risking being blown up. And of course I immediately get hit here with the trigger twins as well. Bloodied Scarf is incredibly powerful, but it's super hard to use. And I still haven't gotten enough practice with it to actually be decent with it. I frequently fail at dodging, especially those short jumps. And there I made the mistake of picking up the yellow chamber, which of course gives you Curse. Which, since I'm nearly maxed out in Curse, summons the Reaper guy again. So now I'm going to have him chasing me. And apparently it has a synergy with the with Dragonfire. I have no idea what that synergy does. Although I can actually look that up. Since I'm not playing right now, I can just go on the wiki and search for Dragon Fire and see when the player has the Heart of Ice. Oh, that's not. It doesn't actually list that synergy, so that might be too new. Let's go to the page for Yellow Chamber instead. See if that. No, that doesn't have any synergies at all, apparently, according to this. So presumably that's a new synergy from this update. And the Dragonfire is gray now and fires gray bullets, gray fireballs. This is interesting. And this is going great, as you can obviously see by me constantly taking hits from things. I accidentally clicked outside of the window there, which is annoying when that happens. Got a lot of cursed enemies in this room, which took a while to kill. Another thing you lose, of course, with the Bloodied Scarf is the ability to dodge roll into enemies and damage them, which is a pretty significant loss when you're playing as a bullet, because that's one of his things. Of course, you still have the advantage of not having to take contact damage, which is incredibly useful. Take more hits, because of course. At least I'm somewhat competent. I've actually been considering if I should, because I know you can cheat in this. There's some sort of trainer or sub-program that can be used to spawn things and such, or like play in a cheat mode of some sort. I haven't really looked at it, but maybe I should use that to train with the Bloodied Scarf. Deliberately get the Bloodied Scarf, or start with it or something, and just play otherwise normal runs with it just to get good with it, because I really need to practice a lot with it and it doesn't show up nearly as often as I would like it to. That might be something to do. And I really need to learn to stop picking up. Of course, I didn't remember that what the yellow chamber was and that it was cursed, which is unfortunate. There's a new item, infuriating note, which just says you've been had, and that has some text. It doesn't do anything, as far as I'm aware. That's close. I have half a heart left. What I should be doing is find some help. But now it's too late. As usual, I managed to get hit and die. But yeah, so that is this episode. We're going to head back to the breach for a little bit, I think, and have a look if there's anything there. Maybe I just end the episode. I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like we're just going to end. So, with that, I will see you in the next episode.